What is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Monday, June 19th of 2023. Trusting that you all had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. So let's go ahead and hop on into it. Well, guys, honestly, looking at this at a glance, there's not really a whole lot that's going on today as far as exact aspects go. We just have a lot of building up energy, building up, of course, with that sun in Gemini, which will be finishing up this week and going into Cancer. And of course, we know we then have the moon over here in Cancer feeling good, feeling a lot more positive and stuff like that too, right? So this is going to be sort of a day where it might seem a little bit more chill as far as, like I said, these exact aspects go. Not really a whole lot going on here. The main thing that you're going to really see today, besides the fact that, the sun and Venus are still within semi square, so there's still that energy that we are dealing with. Venus is in Leo, it's wanting to be positive, wanting to definitely feel the love, feel the romance, receive that energy, be more creative, especially with Mars here too, which Mars is coming into a trine with Chiron, which that's kind of building up. That's nice. But, once again, we have that semi square. So there's a bit of a challenge when it comes to that. I like to say, like, the square is when you make the hard turn, the semi square is when you've already decided to make the hard turn, right? So with the sun in Gemini, it's still wanting to explore, it's still wanting to, be curious and definitely, get out there and communicate, have those conversations, right? But it's in those upper echelons of Gemini. So this is definitely higher thoughts. We're coming off of that new moon in Gemini, which is definitely was this moment to sort of recalibrate and actually find different thought paradigms so that we can create and manifest the life that we really want, right? Now, that moon in Cancer, at least as far as today, it's not really doing a total lot as you move. Oh, hold on, I have it set to day. Let me go to hours. There you go. Now, as you continue to move it forward, now we do have the sun, which is going to come into conjunction with Juno today. So that's probably outside of the moon, which will square Chiron, is probably the biggest aspect of the day. Now, Juno, of course, is a minor asteroid, but it is the asteroid that rules over marriages and love in particular and stuff like that. And it's in the sign of Gemini. So this is definitely going to be a day where it might put a hyper focus on marriages and stuff. Especially coming off of the new moon. This was actually a very great opportunity for people to rekindle relationships if they may not have been where they want them to be. A lot of people probably got married over this weekend, that was another thing. Um, but yeah, so we are going to have that aspect. Now it is, of course, making this, King Kunks over to Pluto. So that's an energy that's kind of building. Now, mind you, the King Kunks is sort of like a minor aspect as well. It's 150 degrees. Now, the King Kunks, I call it, of course, the awkward stare from across the room. So where the sun and Juno meet up, and as it's King Kunksing this Pluto, and then the new moon even King Kunks it, even though it's within 3 degrees, there's definitely going to be this sort of like, with Pluto going back into Capricorn, there's definitely this sort of like homage back to like trying to like go back into the old world. Definitely sort of like pulls to go back into the old world. The King Kunks is going to be like, are you sure you're done with that? Are you sure that you are done with that aspect of your life? As far as different things in the old world that we are going back into. Different desires, different things that are getting kind of pulled in. Remember, Pluto does rule Scorpio, so there are going to be different aspects of the old world and the old way of being that's going to kind of try and pull us back in. Whereas the Sun and Juno conjuncting in Gemini is looking for some newness, is looking for new energy, it's looking for something new to marry ourselves to. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a person, it can be a new job, it can be a new place, it could be just a new life in general. It can be, hey, I want to create and manifest this new thing, and I want to commit to it. That's the other aspect about this. You have two, which is the moon. You have 8, which is Saturn, and that's to a 10, which is Taurus energy. So it's about manifestation, but then it goes back to the one plus, because of the one and the zero, which goes back to Leo. So there's an element of Taurus energy here, and there's an element of Leo energy here as well when you kind of break the energy down as far as like what is it that you truly value. You know what I mean? Are you sound of value, and are you sound of heart? That's really what this comes down to. So it's like we can move into this new world, we can have these new things in our life that really reflect what is that we truly value, because all of our values have in many ways shifted with all this Taurus energy that's happened with the North Node here, Jupiter, especially Uranus. A lot of people's values have shifted, and it doesn't necessarily match and align with the old world. Now, Pluto, like I said, it retrograded back into Capricorn. It'll go into Aquarius and then it'll retrograde back. So we are in the we're in the time skip part, especially with Saturn, which has now gone retrograde in Pisces. This is a definite time skip. So you're going to see today's going to be sort of like a lot of just going back, looking back, seeing like what has worked, what hasn't worked. As we continue to move that moon forward, it will come into a square with Chiron. Of course, this is later on in the day, so that is going to be kind of building up throughout the day when you have that square. And of course, like I said, these aspects to the moon don't necessarily last super long, but the moon is wanting to feel good, right? It's at home, you know. Of course, it's building up to now the opposition with Pluto. So that's the other thing. The moon had some reprieve. It had a little bit of reprieve because the moon, like I said, it feels good when it goes into Cancer, but it's been opposing Pluto this whole time. Since what was it like? When did Pluto actually go into Capricorn? I can't remember off the top of my head, and now I feel like a bad astrologer for not remembering off the top of my head. I want to say it was like 2007, 2008, or something like that. But yeah, the moon has been, like I said, opposing Pluto this whole time, and it hasn't had a lot of reprieve, right? And now it's gonna be opposing it at the edge of it. So we're kind of building up to that. So the first couple days of the moon, or the first little bit of the moon in Cancer, we're actually going to feel a little bit better. We're actually going to feel not as pressured and not as stressed, but of course, it will eventually oppose Pluto. And now it's going to have to be dealing with this energy again. The moon is going to have to deal with the opposition to Pluto while it's in its home sign until pretty much like what, late 2024 going into 2025, when Pluto finally comes into Aquarius officially, right? So today's going to be one of those days. It may be a little bit more of a reflective day, probably not like a whole lot going on as far as direct aspects, besides, like I said, this moon, which is going to square Chiron, but that's going to be later in the day. So maybe you'll feel that kind of building up. And it's interesting too. We have a couple of different harmonics with like the 2 plus 8 is 10, 1 plus 9 is 10. So I think really what it is that we're going to be kind of looking at our life and what we have already manifested, and just kind of taking stock of what we have manifested and seeing where can we make the changes, where can we improve upon. Also, I would say this will be a great day to acknowledge your wins. I think a lot of times we can get so caught up in wanting our lives to look a certain way that we don't acknowledge the awesome things that we have manifested, the awesome people that we may have manifested, maybe the awesome jobs and stuff like that. There's something to be proud of, in your life. There's something to appreciate. And I think that's the other thing about Taurus is appreciation. So we still have the North Node in Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio, although will not be there for the very long. I would say that definitely this will be a time to find things to be appreciative for and to have gratitude. Having an attitude of gratitude is definitely going to take you very far. And honestly, that's really it. There's not really a whole lot going on. It's actually a pretty chill Monday for the most part. So yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and get the cards for the day. This is probably gonna be like one of the shortest astrology forecasts that I've done. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get the cards for the day. I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna draw a tarot card, and I'll also get an oracle card in there for you guys too. So, yeah. All right, let's see. What do we have for the tarot card for the day? Yeah, we have the Eight of Cups in reverse. I told you guys it was going to be a reflective day. Now, being that it's reversed, whatever it is that has already fallen away, whatever it is that we are kind of walking away from, it's like we've already done it pretty much. And it's almost like we're reflecting on, wow, it was actually it was a good thing that I walked away from that. Me walking away from that situation, that person, that job, insert whatever it is. This is a general reading, right? So whatever it is that you might have walked away from, you're almost sort of reflecting on why that was a good decision. I'm going to draw one more card. We have the Strength card in reverse. I think this is just really, there might be some pull for some people to almost sort of go back into that, to maybe reopen those doors. I would say definitely to not reopen those doors. The Strength card in reverse is saying that, have the courage to stand on the decision that you already made. Have the courage to embrace your new reality. Have the courage to embrace that you made the decision, it's in the past, and it's time to move forward, you know. So there's always time to reflect. We always have those days where we reflect and we wonder, like, wow, I wonder what would happen if I had stayed with that person, or stayed at that place, or stayed in that situation and stuff, you know. And that's just what we do. We ponder, we wonder, and stuff like that. I think today is going to be a day where we realize that we actually did make the decision that we needed to make. That card kind of flew out. Let's see what we got. We have the card of alchemy. This card has come up a few times. The frequency of alchemy activates our magical ability and remembrance of the magic that we all hold inside. Each one of us has the potential to access the ancient knowledge that allow the true alchemist to perform the miracles of transmutation. I think this is really speaking to the fact that, whatever situation that we might have been in, we are all alchemists, first of all. It's just sometimes we're not really aware of it. This is a great opportunity for you to be intentional with your alchemy, to kind of look into the past and see, okay, I walked away from those different things. This is the path that I take. That this is the path that I took. These are the decisions I made that led to where I am right now. Okay, where is it that I'm trying to go to? Now that I have this new understanding, especially with that new moon in Gemini that we had over the weekend, and now that Saturn is retrograde too, remember, so new thought paradigms, and Saturn retrograde is giving us a great opportunity to, in many ways, pick and choose what we want to experience. It's like a catalog has opened up with the Pisces energy and with Saturn going retrograde. Whereas Saturn was telling us, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. Now that Saturn is retrograde, it's like a whole catalog has opened up, and it's like we walked into like this spiritual grocery store, and we have, instead of Saturn giving us a list on what we need to get, Saturn is allowing us to actually pick what we want. Now, the thing that comes with that is that there may be a little bit of anxiety, and just like just the sheer amount of choice, maybe like, oh crap, like what do I pick? What do I do? That's why it's important to have the strength and to know yourself, know thyself, know what you're worth, so you can actually make those choices and not just ruminate forever. This is definitely a day where we can just potentially ruminate too much and reflect too much. I think it's good to have a little bit of that, but at the same time, we don't want to get to the point where it's just too much, and realize that we can make a choice, and we can actually take something and we could transform it into something else. This is going to be a great day for that. Overall, I see this as a very positive day. Just, now that we are being given this opportunity of this, like, of seriously, of like this choice of what we want to experience, definitely take advantage of this moment. Definitely take advantage of this moment. The universe is giving us time to reflect more right now, but if we reflect too much, we could potentially not take the actions that are just really going to propel us forward. Because if we take these actions now that we want to take, that we feel is going to really propel us into the future and manifesting the lives that we really want, we will look back on this and be like, man, I wasted a good opportunity. So Don't waste this opportunity. Keep it moving forward. Do the thing that you know you want to do, that you know that you need to do as well. And realize that you will experience everything that you want to experience in divine timing. That is going to be it for your astrology forecast for today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Definitely appreciate that. Make sure that you hit the bell so you can receive all of my daily videos and the other videos that I will be having coming your way. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can follow the link in the description below as well. I do astrology, tarot, and oracle card readings. But and uh and that's it. Yeah. So I will see y'all guys on the next video for Tuesday's forecast. Y'all take care. Have a lovely, marvelous Monday. Peace out.